Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is a video I didn't really plan to do, but in light of recent events, I'm going to show a kind of a recap of my Kaline collection. Now, today is April 7th, 2020, and unfortunately yesterday Kaline passed away in Detroit at the age of 85. So I just wanted to showcase the cards that I have, my player collection. It is not a complete run. It's something that I've been working on the last couple years, but it's not complete yet. But I felt like I just wanted to show that to you today. So starting with the newest to oldest here, this 1975 Topps Highlights commemorates him joining the 3,000 hit clip. He did that in 74, finished with just over 3,000 hits and 399 home runs. So just missed getting into that 400 homer club, but still was a 15-time All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves, won the 68 World Series, and just had a outstanding career. Here's his 1973 Topps. I really like that design. I don't have his 74. That's another really cool card that I haven't picked up yet. And now with his passing, I don't know if I'll get around to getting it anytime immediately. The card prices sometimes go up a little bit when unfortunate things like this happen. Here's his nice 72. Most of his more modern stuff, I'll have it in a 7 or a 6. There are some exceptions like these Dell Team stamps, which aren't very expensive. But 7s and 6s, and then when we get to some of his stuff in the 50s and early 60s, it'll probably be a little lower grade. I'm not a high quality Kaline collector. Here's the O-Pee-Chee variation with the different picture on the back. I'll have his Topps as well from 71. Little different background. That's the one thing I do like about Heritage. They do a good job of representing the little odds and ends stuff or the knick-knack stuff and differences from the vintage years that you might not otherwise know about. Here's a really cool 70 Kellogg's. Don't have a 70 Topps or a 69 Topps, but I've got this nice 68. A little bit of centering issues, but a really sharp card and all. I'm going to do a tabletop recap at the end of this, and the cool thing is you'll get the chance to see Kaline aging before your eyes. You know, he was signed right out of high school in 1953. Here's the 66. He got a $35,000 bonus, which was big money back then. Nothing like the players receive today, but for a ball player, you know, he basically, you know, coming out of high school, he went straight to the major league team because he was a bonus baby at 18 and started playing in 53. Never spent a day in the minors as far as my understanding goes. Nice 67. So he had an all-star run from 55 all the way to 67 every year. '65. '64 Leaders card he shared with Harvey Killebrew, another great who recently passed away a couple years ago. Here's one of my favorites of mine. I don't have a strong mantle collection at all, but I do have some good, cool mantle pieces like this where he's in with other guys that I do collect. I love that he's sitting standing there next to Kaline and Norm Cash and Roger Maris all have their lumber out there displayed. Really cool card. Kind of tells a story of what it was like to be a ball player back in those days. And then here's his portrait from '64. A lot of those portrait cards are pretty boring, so that's why I kind of like the multiplayer cards, because they do kind of take you back to that era a little better. Here's not a bad portrait shot of him swinging, a 1963. A little off center, but still a pretty sharp card for the 63 set. I don't have a 72, or excuse me, a 62. I've been looking to pick it up. I always get outbid on it, and of course now his prices will probably spike a little bit, so I probably won't pick it up soon, but maybe, who knows, maybe I'll get it. It's a cool card of him swinging, very similar to the 63. Don't have the 61 Topps either, but I do have the 61 Post Serial. This is the perforated. What that means is this is actually a mail-in card. These cards came on the back of post serial boxes, and then you could also mail in a set or mail in sheets here, and then you could break them apart. So this one came in from the mail-in offer. Blank back. Really sharp, 1960. I've had this card for about 8 years. One of my first Kalines ever got. Nice 5. And as I said before, now we're seeing 5s, 4s, and there's a few exceptions, but primarily 5s and 4s, a few 6s mixed in here. Interesting design with that pink background. Weird color scheme. And then he's also in this 59 baseball thrill set. A lot of Hall of Fame players in that subset. You know, you got Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Duke Snider. I think Mantle has one too. It doesn't show a picture of him. I think it shows him hitting a home run. Then the really cool Sporting News. And this is a classic example of a card I've bought recently where I really wasn't looking at something high grade. I just wanted to get the card slabbed. And so I just sprung on these 4, get it in a 4 at an affordable price. And just a beautiful card, for a 4. You don't have to have everything in high grade. Recently got this in the last year as well, this 59 Topps Kaline. Really strong with that red background. Just a beautiful, gorgeous card of him swinging the lumber. Starting to grow up a little bit, been in the big leagues, probably about, 5 years at this point. Cool. I don't have his 58, but a really cool 57. I've always secretly admired this 57 card. I think I ordered something from somebody one time, and they used this image of the 57 Kaline on a business card for them, and I thought, that's a pretty cool looking card. And then I've always wanted to pick it up, and you can tell by the Lighthouse holder I've picked it up in the last year. Didn't pay hardly anything for this. I just wanted the card in hand and wanted it slabbed, and it looks really good in that new holder. And once again, not a high grade item at all. This is probably one of my nicer cards from the 50s. Definitely from that 55 Bowman set in a near mint 7. I splurged a little bit more on this one because I really liked it and wanted something in nice grade. I just remember being on vacation with my family when I bought this. I was really excited to pick it up in a 7. Maybe had a little bit of buyer's remorse at the time, but I'm glad now that I did pick it up. And before I get to the last 2 in the stands, I do have an autograph as well. Him, not a great grade on that, a near mint 7. You can tell the autograph is kind of fading a little bit, but still a pretty cool piece to have on that Hall of Fame plaque. He was inducted first ballot in 1980, him and Duke Snider. No question, it was well deserved. And the cool 64 Topps Giants, very easy to get these in 8s and 7s, very affordable. Centering's not great on this, but it's a razor sharp card. And then I just wanted to showcase the last 2 of my favorites. The 1955. 55 is big because that was the year he won his first batting title, or won the batting title at 20. Decided to set the record for the youngest ever, or tie the record youngest ever with Ty Cobb, I believe. Just amazing that a 20-year-old kid could win the American League batting title. Just amazing. And really, look at the colors on that and the imagery on that. Sure, it's just a 4, but just a beautiful card. Got a little bit of a cartoon on the back too. Love that old 50s vintage look. And then of course his rookie from 54. Picked this one up about 4 years ago. In all honesty, centering's not great. It's got kind of a ding corner down here as well. It's not a really good looking 5. Probably paid too much for it, but I was kind of in a rush to get it, and so I got it. And I'm glad to have it in the collection. It's the third most valuable rookie from that set, with obviously the Hank Aaron and then the Ernie Banks coming in ahead of it. I don't know if, Kaline, if he didn't have those guys overshadowing him, would his stuff have more value? It's hard to say. But he's definitely a great ball player and definitely worthy to be the Hall of Famer that he is, and bears the title Mr. Tiger for a reason. And that being said, I'll do a tabletop recap. And the recap here, starting with his rookie card, and once again, just look how young he is, 18 years old there. And as you go through the years, you can see him Going from a boy to a man there. A lot of colorful cards in the 50s, early 60s. He's been in the league around 10 years at this time. Starting to finish out those, consecutive 13 years as an all-star. And then in the late 60s, winning the World Series in 68. And then kind of fading into that elderly ball player there in the 70s. And then that's a good portrait shot of him just to see how much he's aged in the 20-plus years of his career. And then wrapping it up there. Once again, everybody, I appreciate your posts, your comments, and I'll talk to you again soon.